Okay, I know what you're thinking. Brussels sprouts, really? The veggie that would not go away when we were kids? Well, these aren't those bitter little brats from back in the day. Honey, we are about to transform them into sweet, tangy, caramelized little flavor bombs filled with maple syrup, balsamic glaze, and candied pecans. But first things first, I have to get these sprouts in order. Before we can do anything else, we have to get the sad yellow leaves off. We want our sprouts to look as sharp as possible. Just think of it as lining them up before the big show. Before the sprouts can glow up, we've got to shave off those tough ends. Now we're going to trim the stem, but not too much. The goal is to cut off as less as possible so that we don't lose a lot of the leaves. It's okay to lose some of them because we're going to use them anyways, but we just don't want to cut too much. We want to maintain the shape of that Brussels, but we are going to use those extra leaves. Now let's give them a bath using 1 part vinegar and 3 parts water. Brussels grow in tight clusters and can trap soil, sand, or grit between their layers. So soaking helps loosen and lift that dirt in the crevices. I soak mine for about 10 to 15 minutes depending on how dirty they are. But before I walk away, I make sure to penetrate that vinegar and water through all the pieces just to make sure that we don't miss anything, because I don't want any bug surprises. And if you know, you know, I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, so I also use a produce brush to brush away any debris as well. Now, this is not a step that you have to take, but don't judge me. This is just something that I feel like I need to do for my family. Next, drain the soiled water. Then you want to keep refilling with water or rinsing with water until all of the debris is gone. You don't want any sand or debris at the bottom of your bowl, or you can just use a strainer too as well, because that's exactly what I should have done. Unfortunately, ADHD brain ran a little bit too fast for me, and I started doing this without even thinking about a strainer. So look, we're just gonna work with where we are. The most important thing is that they're clean and dry. Clean and dry sprouts will absorb your oils and your seasonings. Now, halving is important for a few reasons. This will promote even cooking, crispier texture, faster cooking time, visual appeal, and thorough seasoning. It's not about just getting in there and getting it done. It's also about making something amazing as well. Now for their spa day. Drop them into salted boiling water for 3 to 4 minutes, just long enough for them to turn into a gorgeous green. Then transfer them into an ice bath to stop them from cooking. Crispy sprouts do not come from soggy Brussels, so you don't want to overcook them. As you can see, I started off with ice water, but of course these are hot Brussels, so after time, the ice is going to melt, so feel free to just add more ice. Once you're done, separate all your halves from your loose leaves. We will not be wasting them or throwing them away. We're actually going to use them to create some amazing texture and also vibrant color inside the dish. So set them to the side until it's time to bring them back to the party. Now, I would highly recommend that you pat them dry again at this stage. Next, we're going to dress them up using olive oil, garlic salt, oregano, thyme, and rosemary, salt, balsamic vinegar, and maple syrup. As always, we begin with the olive oil just to make sure that those seasonings can stick to the Brussels sprouts. This part is key because this is how you're going to change the taste of these sprouts from that bitter, earthy taste to a bold, savory delight. So add in your seasonings one by one, but something that I do intentionally is that I don't mix in all my seasoning at once. I take the first half, apply it to the top, mix them thoroughly, and then I apply the other half and then mix again. So take this step for each one. Or if you want to, you can just place it all in at one time. But I have found that the flavor gets in thoroughly if you take it in sections. And as I say all the time, cooking is just like dancing. Once you have the basic steps, you can make it your own. So if you want to pre-mix all of the seasonings together and just pour it all over the top and mix it, sure, go ahead and do so. The biggest thing is just making sure that we actually season them. Once again, we do not want bitter, bland Brussels sprouts. Now on to our liquid ingredients. We're gonna add in our balsamic vinegar, but make sure that you pace yourself when it comes to the vinegar because it is vinegar, so it will overpower everything if you put too much. I'm gonna make sure that I have all of the measurements listed inside of the description tab, so be sure to check that out. Same thing goes for your maple syrup. Be generous, but not too much. Once you're done putting all the ingredients on, toss them well. This is also the perfect time to taste and adjust your salt as necessary. At this point, preheat your oven to 425 degrees. Pull out your baking sheet and get ready to lay these beauties out. Oil on the pan, we want them to be crispy and not burnt. And we don't want them to stick to the bottom of the pan and make life miserable for us when it's time to clean up. Place the sprouts face down on the sheet, leaving about a finger length of room in between each one. You don't want to overcrowd them too much because the steam from the Brussels will prevent them from crisping. Don't make the mistake of overcrowding them. Take it from my experience. If you want them to be a little bit more on the crispy side, they're gonna need the space to be able to cook. But if you need to add another pan, just add another pan. Side note, we're gonna use the remaining liquid from off the Brussels, so do not throw it away. Sit it to the side once you have them all on the pan. And just like that, we're all loaded and ready to go. Next, we're placing them into the oven to cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. And while that's in the oven, we're gonna work on caramelizing our onions. Now, red onions are a treat for any dish, but this one in particular, we're adding them not just for taste, but also for visual pleasure. So we know Brussels sprouts are green, okay? They're green and even more green. So we're adding the onion to add that pop of color so that it's visually pleasing as well. This is going to stimulate new memories for how you visualize Brussels sprouts. Now we're going to put to use that extra liquid and those loose leaves that we set to the side earlier. Place the leaves inside the mixture and mix it well. Next, add in your favorite nut. I'm using caramel candied pecans. I've crushed them and added enough to add crunch to the dish without overpowering it. The Brussels have been removed from the oven, so I'm going to add them into the bowl with the loose leaves. I guess you can call this stage the marriage of it all. And last but not least, add in those red onions and toss all of that goodness back and forth until it is well mixed. This dish smells like a celebration and also tastes like one. If you've been on the fence about Brussels sprouts, this dish is going to change your mind. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss a post.